Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2021. We made it. Hey, I wanted to send you this video. As much as I love writing, I love my weekly writings and making a blog post, it takes a lot of time and my kids require a lot of time. So I thought maybe videos would be easier because I love sharing with you guys the things that are happening, the trends that I'm noticing, both between private sessions that I do weekly and the group sessions that I do weekly, because I think it's so exciting. I find it so fascinating, and I definitely feel the energy in general changing, and I see themes coming up, and I love to share that with you, mostly because I want to make sure, I know if you don't have a grounding in this stuff that I'm talking about, in an understanding of the cosmic cycles and astrology and my foundation is really in yoga and the Vedic calendar and Vedic history and Vedic cosmology. But that cosmology, that understanding of the universe and understanding of cycles and time, it's throughout so many different religions around the world. And so if you don't have a grounding in any of that, what's happening in the world today can feel so scary or chaotic or uncertain. And of course, there's some uncertain. It's not like I'm certain about everything. There's going to be uncertainty everywhere. But part of what I love to teach also is, how do we deal with the uncertainty? How do we have some grounding and some bearing of what's happening that's positive? And then how do we embrace the uncertainty and use it to our advantage? So I love all that stuff. That's why I love sharing with you what I'm noticing in the sessions. And that's what I'm going to do today. And you probably will be seeing more of these videos ongoing. So the one I really want to share with you that I feel like is just a beautiful message to carry into 2021. Basically, what I felt about December was preparing us. All the sessions that I did, the message, there was a clear message for every single session, the group session. And it felt like preparation. Everything was preparation or alignment, aligning our energies for stepping into 2021 and giving us lessons that we would need to carry through into 2021. And if you've been in the last few classes, you've heard my analogy. There's a lot of different analogies, but my favorite analogy for what's happening on the planet right now is that we have all been picked up by a big ass tsunami. And this tsunami is it's picking us up, it's carrying us to somewhere that's gonna be super awesome. But the ride there for many people is gonna feel very rocky. It's gonna feel very rocky for the people who are trying to hold on to their shit. If you're not willing to let go of your baggage, let go of the crap you've been carrying around, it's gonna feel really hard to swim. It's going to feel almost impossible to surf. You're just going to be holding on for dear life and like trying to catch a breath. So all of this is about letting go, letting go, letting go. A really important thing to be letting go of right now is guilt. Any way that you don't or are not having compassion for yourself, or still not forgiving yourself for something, it's really important to let that go. So the session that I really wanted to carry to share with you today as a message to bring into 2021 was the session we did on the 21st of December, which, as you might know, was a really powerful astrological day. That was the day that Saturn and Jupiter were the closest in the sky. It was the Christmas star day. And this particular day, so it was the 21st, and this particular day was really cool. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that it was the Christmas star. In my preparation for the class, I wasn't thinking about the fact that it was almost Christmas. I was just thinking about Jupiter and Saturn being conjunct. But the cool thing that happened before the session even started, there were two things. I'll show you. I always keep, Nick's grandmother was very, very Catholic, and the family joke was that she had a phone line to God. So I always keep her rosary with my special things in my office here, office/playroom. And it was the first time in a long time, it maybe only happened one other time, where I felt like, oh, I need that today. Let's pull that down. I'll put it with the candle and the crystals and whatever. So I pulled that down. And then the other thing I felt like I really had to do was pull the cards out. I have a deck of cards that that have to do with the Ascended Masters, and you can shuffle them and pull them out to see what kinds of energies or who's showing up for a session today. So of course, I open up the deck, I flip it over, and guess who the card was? It was Jesus. So I thought, okay, all right, I guess Jesus wants to be here today. So I forget all about all that stuff. I wasn't even thinking about it. Really cool stuff happened during the session as far as energy downloads and clearings, and whole lot of fire. It was cool. A lot of interesting visual things. But at the end, there was a really clear verbal message that was coming through. And this was and for me, it's not like I'm not a clear channel. I don't get taken, my body doesn't get taken over and then some voice comes out. It's almost just, I get these big blocks of thought that come in and then I have to share. And so what it was this. So basically, here was the idea. So 2,000 years ago, we had the same alignment in the skies, and we called it the Christmas star. And who showed up but Jesus Christ in a manger? And Jesus would go on to revolutionize the world in so many ways. I just lost my light, but you know what? I'm going to carry on. I don't care. So Jesus would go on to revolutionize the world and start a movement and start a whole religion. But the message was that for us to understand the energy today on the planet, even though the same thing is happening in the sky and maybe there's similar alignments, the energy on the planet today is so different. We don't need to be waiting for or to be looking to one single person to be saving us or to be guiding us or be showing us the way. We are all now capable of being that Christed consciousness, or being containers or conduits for Christ consciousness. And the message was like, you're not waiting for somebody to save you anymore. You're saving yourself. You already are saved. There's nothing to atone for. You're already forgiven. So now all it's about is deeper and deeper layers and levels of self-forgiveness and self-compassion. And that was it. Like, that was the message. Self-forgiveness, self-compassion, let it go. And then I just connected today. This was a cool thing. Oh, it was also about being being sovereign, like being your own sovereign being. So you're not waiting for somebody else to tell you what's right and wrong. You're going to have an internal knowing. Okay, so that was the other piece of that. But I just connected today. This was interesting. Just right before this session, I was helping out a friend, a very dear friend who's probably watching this video. Her father was in between, he was on his way to dying, and he was kind of in between worlds. He had stopped eating. He had a neurological disease, so he'd stopped eating, and he was sort of stopped talking very much. He had not been talking for a while, but he stopped communicating. And she just called me because she was worried that he was uncomfortable. And, there's no way to communicate. She wanted to make sure that he was doing okay. So there was 2 times that I checked in on him. And what I noticed, what I asked her after, I said, it felt like your father was almost hiding in a way, that he was, when his energy body became aware of me, he was like, didn't know if he could trust me, didn't know if I should be there, didn't know if he should open up to me. And I said, is there a reason that your father would be hiding? Like, was he very religious, and maybe also like scared of religion, scared of God in some way, like felt like he had to hide from what was coming for him? Because the feeling was almost like he was sitting in this massive room of light, but he was closed up in this little box and very content to be there, just content just to not let any light in. And so in the session, when I was working with him, I was saying to him, it's okay to let the light in. It's okay to open it up. Like, why don't you just poke your head up there and see what's going on? And when I asked my friend about it later, she said, oh yeah, he, there were a couple things, and by all accounts, he was just a beautiful, peaceful, wonderful man. But she said, and I was very surprised, she said that there was something that happened in his past that he was just had never been able to forgive himself for. And it just made me so sad, because that wasn't like his energy was so beautiful. And I thought, oh, that's so sad. And I could see how that lack of self-forgiveness was, so I'm just putting this together now. His lack of self-forgiveness was causing him to cut himself off from connection to source, right? All your soul desires really is that connection to source. So when you're unwilling to forgive yourself, when you're unwilling to accept yourself, you cut yourself off. All right, so that's the message for today. Moving into 2021, let go of your shit, put down your baggage. Now is the time. You are the one you've been waiting for, and that's it. And I'm so excited for what's coming. I hope you have a smooth ride. I hope you find your surfboard. And if I can help in any way, call me, join the meditations, call me for a private session. And thanks, guys. Mwah. Talk to you later.